I'm Jamie McDonald. I'm the Chief Giving Officer of Network for Good. Network for Good is the nation's largest online charitable platform, and I came to Network for Good when they acquired a company that I founded called GiveCorps, which is a community-based crowdfunding site both for cities and for large nonprofits. And I'm going to be talking today about lessons that we learned in the Be More Gives More campaign, which was our Giving Tuesday 2013 campaign to be the most generous city in America. We raised $5.7 million that day, actually, and we did get the Giving Tuesday name, or the moniker of being the most generous city in America. And so today we're going to be talking about those lessons that we took away from that campaign when we reflected back on its success, about what made it successful. The first one is to set a big goal. It's very easy as a nonprofit. We all tend to be a little risk averse, and so it's easy to think about setting a goal that's definitely going to be reached. And what I would say to you is resist that urge. Set a big goal that can really be a rallying cry for your supporters, something that's out of the ordinary. Because the worst thing that can happen is that you don't reach it, but that you've tried for something big and meaningful. It's almost worse the other way, that if you set a very reachable goal and you hit it, but all your supporters say, so what? Then you haven't necessarily accomplished anything and haven't taken advantage of all the excitement around Giving Tuesday. The second big goal that I'd encourage organizations or nonprofits to think, or cities to think about, is to engage the establishment. So what we mean by that is, in every organization or every community, there is a group of influential leaders who are important to get involved in your campaign. If you're a nonprofit, it might be certain key board members where without their support, you're not going to be able to make it successful. In a community, it might be your political leaders, or it might be key leaders in the philanthropic or nonprofit community or the volunteer community. But even though this is a movement that's really about the everyday giver, you want to make sure that you've got those key partners in each community who are engaged and who can really provide that amplification of your efforts, in a broader campaign. There's a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson that says that nothing big has ever been accomplished without enthusiasm. And so you need a team that is convened by an enthusiastic leader. And that can be a person, or it can be an organization like GiveCorps, the role that we played in the Be More Gives More campaign. But you need that passionate leader, in some ways more than you need the tactical leader. You need the sort of emotional pull to rally people around your Giving Tuesday effort so that you can be successful. Then from there, build a team of partners around that leader that can help you with specific tactical things that need to be done to make the campaign successful. But if you have to forgo one, go for the passion, and go lighter on the tactics. In a perfect world, you've got both, but you can't do it without a passionate leader. Think about how to make Giving Tuesday your own through your own branding. And it can be as simple as, if you have no resources, grab the Giving Tuesday logo and just put it everywhere that you can. But if you can take even one step further and maybe use a great free resource like canva.com and go and create a little Giving Tuesday logo for your organization, for your city, for your nonprofit, so that everything that leads up, for the couple of months leading up to Giving Tuesday, you've got this branded visual identity and perhaps a name that makes sense for your campaign, like the Be More Gives More campaign made sense for us, that really can make the whole campaign feel like it's kind of bigger than it is. And that can really help to sort of set this campaign apart from just your everyday fundraising. It's going to be critical that you have partners that can help you amplify your message. And, we hear lots and lots about social media, and that's definitely an opportunity. And, you want to have strong social media ambassadors if you've got a strong social presence, but you can really start with wherever you are. So if you're an organization that largely relies on emails, you can still use key supporters like board members and volunteers and staff to be hubs of communication for forwarding those emails along, or sharing a message if they are social, sharing on Facebook, sharing on Twitter. Don't worry about starting something that you don't already do. If you're not using social media, don't feel like you've got to get started on that channel. Use what you have, but think strategically about how you can put in place people that can help to amplify your message. Be creative. Some of the most powerful things that happened in the Be More Gives More campaign were not the tactics that we were developing, kind of widely disseminating. They were the creative things that bubbled up because, somebody sat in a room and said, I'm going to throw a funny hat on and say, I'm going to wear this hat every day until Giving Tuesday. And in many ways, those more idiosyncratic one-off things created the much more powerful viral content for the campaign than the sort of the standard communications, all of which were very important. But the funny or the emotional content, the stories, the videos, the pictures, the kooky, activities, those really created the rich viral content. The next lesson that we can't emphasize enough is to be contagious. So that relates to the point we made before, but it's really a more tactical effort to be sure that you're communicating your message out through all the channels that need to be touched about Giving Tuesday. So if you're a nonprofit, you've got to be talking not just to your supporters, but you've got to be talking to your board, your donors, your prospects, your staff, the people that have been impacted by your work. They can be amazingly powerful advocates for your cause, volunteers and others who support your organization, but resist the urge to sort of spray them with a fire hose of information. So important to be tactical about how you engage them. Because if you're constantly every day sending out information saying share, 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 or here's our campaign, they're going to go sort of into information overload. And so what you really want to do is you want to sort of tactically decide that either a day a week or perhaps 2 days a week, you're going to be sharing shareable content with your supporters and those people that you're bringing into your kind of your core, your communications core for Giving Tuesday. And you have, very simple tactical things that you're asking them to do on that day. So now it's predictable for them. They know, okay, I'm going to only have to expect this twice a week. I'm going to be asked to do this, it might take 15 minutes of my time 2 days a week or once a week. It's predictable. They're not going to tune you out. They're not going to unsubscribe to your emails. Make sure that you give them consistent, rich content, but do it in a way that's manageable and digestible for them so that they'll continue to share on your behalf. Engage other community partners. So, if you're a nonprofit, many times you're going to have a natural ally. Think about either where you have natural connections because you've got a supporter that represents a retailer or a merchant that could support your cause, or where just from a cause perspective, there's a natural alignment. So a local green products merchant might tie very nicely to, an environmental cause. And so how do you bring those two things together? And the reason that that's powerful is that those can be supporters that can provide potentially matching funds, or at a minimum, they can just spread your message about Giving Tuesday in a powerful and in sort of neutral third-party kind of way that can be very validating for supporters and can sort of engage new people with what you're trying to do. There are also community partners that can bring skills to the table. So again, when you're thinking more broadly about a citywide campaign, perhaps there's a local PR marketing firm that can lend support to the campaign, or retailers that are willing to give a % of the proceeds to a matching fund pool for that day. We had a pizza shop that made a Be More Gives More pizza, and we had a granola company and an ice cream store team up to create a special ice cream flavor. And in both of those instances, they gave a percentage of their proceeds to a matching fund pool that supported all the nonprofits that were participating in Be More Gives More. Make it fun. It's so critical that this doesn't feel like the obligation of giving. This feels like the opportunity to make a difference in your community. And that sense of, locking arms, we're all in this together, we're going to make a big thing happen. You can do that, very deliberately with things like, challenges and events and matching funds. But you also can honestly just do it in the tone in which you communicate. That you want to be sure that this feels like, this great opportunity to get involved and make a difference and feel good and get the helper's high that comes with, making an impact on your world. Second to last, that's so critical is to remember to build a parking lot. You're not going to be able to implement every great idea this year. You are going to have, your board chair come to you with his great idea for Giving Tuesday. And that's a very hard thing as a nonprofit, or frankly, as a city. If a very influential person comes to you and says, we should be doing this for Giving Tuesday, If it's a great idea and it makes sense in the flow of what you're trying to do, then great, do it. It's great to be able to support the great idea of a strong supporter. But in some cases, you really need to be able to say, that's a fantastic idea, and I'm going to put it in my parking lot for 2015 because we're trying to do this, this big thing. We're going down this path, and keep the ideas coming, but we've got to have a sort of a list of ideas that help us make the campaign even bigger and better next year than it is going to be this year. And so, it's okay not to do everything, that comes your way in what's going to be, an exciting but hard campaign to execute. Before, during, and after your campaign, or after your Giving Tuesday, campaign, make sure that you're celebrating, thanking, and celebrating over and over and over again. Before your campaign, you can be celebrating things like, a new retail partner that's come in to be part of the campaign with you, or a generous donor who's putting up matching funds, or a new, frankly, you can be celebrating like a new T-shirt that you're putting out in time for the campaign. Thanking can also happen, again, in all three of those phases. Leading up to a campaign, the celebration is, isn't this fantastic? The thank you is, because of this person's generous matching funds, we're hoping to attract, 35 new donors who will help us serve, 100 new people. So, make your thanking very tangible. Thanking is really about sharing impact and acknowledging those people that make that possible. And then circle back to the celebration, and, don't hang on that sort of a more evocative emotion for too long. Get back to the fun, because you want to set people up to be excited about next year. And the thing that people remember, is they remember when you make them laugh or cry. And you really want your campaign to, your thanking is about sharing the impact. It's the emotional, the cry part. But being part of Giving Tuesday is fun and an opportunity to make a difference in your organization or your community. And you really want to take advantage of that opportunity to celebrate and, keep people engaged and excited, and have them saying to you, well, wait, when's Giving Tuesday 2015? You want to get them all geared up for the next one that's coming down the road.